the dark truth behind Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks is one of the smartest and toughest characters in all of Bikini Bottom, but something about her has always felt off. She lives in a giant dome separated from the rest of the city and works on inventions that are way too advanced for a small underwater town. What if Sandy isn't just a friendly squirrel in a diving suit, but a secret spy sent to secretly study the citizens of Bikini Bottom for a higher purpose? And even worse, what if she's been doing it under everyone's noses the entire time? In this video, we will break down the important clues and evidence from episodes, and by the end, you might just see Sandy in a whole new light. Part 1. Who is Sandy really working for? To understand why Sandy is who we think she is, we first have to acknowledge a few things about her. On the surface, Sandy is a scientist. She invents crazy gadgets and works in her personal lab inside the tree dome. But in the episode, Chimps Ahoy, we learn something that changes everything. Sandy isn't working alone. She's funded by an organization known as Tree Dome Enterprises, or BOOTS, which stands for Bureau of Official Texas Science. Remember this, it will be very important later on. In the episode, a group of talking chimpanzees, who are her bosses, come down from the surface to evaluate her progress. They're not just there for a visit, they're there to check on the status of her experiments. They give her an ultimatum: impress us, or we cut your funding and bring you back to Texas. If this is just for science, why so much pressure? And why does this Texas Science Bureau care so much about her inventions?
Allow me to introduce ourselves. I am Professor Percy. This is Dr. Marmalade.
At your service.
And this is Lord Reginald.
Charmed.
You guys talk funny. Say more words.
We are the board of directors of Tree Dome Enterprises Limited, and we are here to ascertain if Ms. Cheeks' inventions are up to snuff.
Sandy lives separate from everyone else. She observes Bikini Bottom from a distance. And while SpongeBob and his friends think she's just building simple inventions, she's actually doing advanced research on underwater society, and there is strong evidence for that. In other research, Sandy found that 98% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so you should subscribe. Sandy is not living in Bikini Bottom because she wants to, she was sent there, and if Boots is watching her every move, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Part 2. Sandy's suspicious behavior and inventions. Sandy's inventions are a big part of her character, but when you really look at them, they seem less like passion projects and more like high-level research tools. Why does a squirrel living underwater need a giant robot or a time machine? Let's dive into some examples. In Overbooked, Sandy gets visibly frustrated when SpongeBob bails on helping her test a new invention. She acts like she's behind schedule, like she's got secret higher-ups expecting results. And maybe that's why she needed SpongeBob specifically for her presentation. In the episode Pressure, she forces SpongeBob and the others to experience life on land just to prove a point. But it goes deeper than that. Sandy's testing how sea creatures function outside of their element. It's not a friendly competition, but an experimentation. Then there's the episode Perfect Chemistry, where she uses complex lab equipment to study SpongeBob's emotional reactions and compatibility. It's framed as light-hearted, but it's another example of her using Bikini Bottom residents as test subjects. But one of the most suspicious moments comes from the episode Spy Buddies. While SpongeBob and Patrick are on a mission to spy on Plankton, they suddenly show up equipped with high-tech spy gear, everything from secret cameras to high-powered magnifying glasses. And where did they get it all? Sandy. It's never explained why she just happens to have a stockpile of military-grade spy tools sitting around in her tree dome. Why would a scientist need equipment designed for surveillance and infiltration? Unless she's already trained in that kind of work.
Hi, Sandy.
Hey, SpongeBob, Patrick, what y'all doing?
Do you know anything about spying, Sandy?
Well, I know you need a lot of crazy gadgets, like jetpacks and laser-equipped Bermuda shorts with walkie-talkies.
Good, buddy.
Cameras that fit up your nose, high-powered magnifying glasses, and my favorite, the knockout ray.
These inventions, how she uses them and her behavior, starts to look less like science for fun and more like a controlled observation. Sandy isn't just inventing cool stuff, she's collecting data, and if Boots is the one funding her, that data may not be staying in Bikini Bottom. Part 3. The definitive evidence. The theory gets confirmed in one of the most overlooked places, the Sandy Cheeks movie, Saving Bikini Bottom. In the movie, Tree Dome Enterprises, yes, the same Boots organization, returns, and this time they don't just send Sandy down to Bikini Bottom, they take the entire town back to the surface. Let that sink in. An organization from Texas kidnaps the entire underwater city just to study them on land. And in the movie, Sandy admits it. She works for them. Not just used to, not by accident. She's been working for them all along. Sandy also confirms in the movie that she is a marine biologist and that it was the reason she came to Bikini Bottom in the first place.
Here, Sparky, Sparky, Sparky! Time for our daily roundup. We got a lot of data to collect. Boots Laboratory! That's the lab that I work for!
This is years of groundwork finally being revealed. The experiments, the inventions, the constant testing of SpongeBob and his friends. It all lines up. Even in the series, you'll notice Sandy never fully integrates into Bikini Bottom. She doesn't behave like the others. She doesn't even breathe like the others. And no matter how many friends she makes, there's always that distance, that barrier between her and everyone else. And think about it. How many times has she pushed SpongeBob into strange scenarios for science? Sandy Cheeks may have grown to care about Bikini Bottom, but it doesn't change where she came from or why she was sent there in the first place. So, is Sandy Cheeks just a fun, friendly squirrel with a love for science? Or is she secretly part of a government organization sent to study and report on the citizens of Bikini Bottom? She lives in a dome that monitors the environment. She's under constant pressure from a group of surface scientists. She builds inventions that track and control the behavior of her neighbors. And she was literally working for a company that brought Bikini Bottom to the surface for further study. There's no doubt anymore, Sandy is a secret spy for Boots. The real question is, what does Boots want with Bikini Bottom? Are they trying to understand undersea life, control it, or maybe even weaponize it? She came to Bikini Bottom to study them, and maybe that was true at first, but somewhere along the way, something changed. The experiments continued, the data piled up, but so did the friendships, the chaos, the laughter, the weirdness of it all. She started to drift, not enough to abandon her mission, but enough to make her wonder. Bikini Bottom has changed her more than she was ever supposed to. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Sandy just doing her job, or has she started to care more about the creatures she was sent to observe? Also, you can now become a channel member to get exclusive channel perks. Every member will get a shout out at the end of every video, along with a lot of other perks. So make sure to check that out if you want to support us. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Bikini Bottom's biggest mysteries.